Hi guys, Ryan Terry here, IFBB Pro and USN Athlete. Today I'm here to answer all of your questions, so let's get to it. Right, so I've always done 12-week preps. The reason for it is I stay lean all year round, but I like to give myself enough time through a prep, through any competition prep, to allow time for losing weight or for slowing things down and to come in nice and slow in order to maintain as much muscle as possible. 12 weeks is ample for a physique guy. The reason you don't need to do a 16-week diet is when you've had, say, 2 or 3 years out and you are more in the open class bodybuilding. So for me, during prep, I normally consume quite high amounts of carbohydrates and fats anyway, because I have a very fast metabolism. There are going to be times when obviously I will be into a deficit closer to competition day, and the way I stay motivated is looking at that #1 spot. So for me, I'm not Mr. Olympia or I'm not #1 in the world yet, and that's how I've always prepped into shows. I've always thought I'm not where I want to be yet, and I've not achieved the things I've achieved yet. So for me, that's a motivation alone, and if for any reason that doesn't pull me through on a day, I would look at my vision board, which reiterates what I want to achieve in my life, and also YouTube. It sounds silly, but YouTube, look at my contestants, Jeremy Buendia, who's current #1, and look, is he having these off days, or is he training just as hard? So that normally fires me up and keeps me going. Yeah, so if you're first time competing, my advice to you would be to go and have a look at the shows you're intending to compete in. Look at what class you want to go into, and then look at that winning physique and obviously how they pose on stage. It's really key that if you've dieted over 12 weeks, you want to showcase your physique to the best. And if you don't learn, obviously, the routine and practice your posing day in, day out, then you're not going to perfect it. And that is the difference between first and second. So this is something I learned throughout my competing early days, which I didn't do my research and I didn't practice enough. So I like to stay lean all year round, and that's something I enjoy doing because it's part of my lifestyle. But there are some difference in on-season and off-season. I would be around 4,500 calories maintenance on my off-season, and at present I'm down to about 3,500, and we are 5 weeks out from the Olympia. So there is a difference in calories, but also in expenditure. So I do take food away when I'm dieting, but I like to keep as much in as possible and expend more through training rather than take food away. So on off-season, I wouldn't be doing any cardio. On season, I'll be doing an hour low intensity every morning. And that's really where I would differ. It keeps me lean on my off season, but it gives me enough calories in order to grow as well. So in peak week, I tend to go more into circuits for the last 3 days. So seven days out, I've done all the work for the 11 weeks, and I should technically be ready by then. So all it is about fatiguing the muscle, depleting my glycogen levels, but not ripping the muscle in order to obviously water over and things like that. So I will be quite low on calories there as well, so I'm not going to repair or grow muscle, anything at that stage. So for me, I would do full body circuits, nice and steady, which depletes me ready to carb up 2 days out from any show I do. My water levels will increase slightly, but not too drastic. Old bodybuilding methods load up with water and cut the salt and do all these drastic things a few days out from a show. And for me, I've done all that and it's never worked, and I always seem to come off worse. So I always think, why change something so drastic, so close, when you don't need to? So what I tend to do is 2 days out, stop training completely. I will increase my carbs quite high, and 1 day out from a show, so 24 hours before, I will cut my water. I'll still sip on water, but I'll slightly dehydrate my body in order to look drier and fuller on stage.
Right, here we are, 5 weeks out from your third Mr. Olympia.
Yeah, I can't believe it.
You were 1 point behind Jeremy last year.
Yes.
You've since won the Arnold Classic, relocated to the States.
Yes.
Let's just pause for breath a minute, take a rewind. Remind everybody where you were when you first joined USN.
Yeah, I've been with USN now 8 years, coming up to my 8th year, would you believe? Getting a veteran at this. And yeah, when I first started USN, I was 19 years old, and I was a plumber. So I was working on site every day, full-time job. an apprentice, and yeah, my training schedule was first thing in the morning before obviously getting on site, and after work. So yeah, things have changed over the years, and I'm very fortunate enough to be here now, still doing what I love.
So I mean, that ties in really nicely with the new Face of USN campaign.
Yes. Yeah.
Because you have come from being a plumber with a bit of pageant type stuff you did, didn't you? You did.
That's when I first started.
Tell us a bit about that. You were.
Yeah. So when I started with USN, I was more on the modelling side of it. I was a lot smaller, and I was doing commercial modelling. That's how I started out. And yes, I did win a male pageant, which was Mr. Great Britain, and then I went on to win Mr. International, which was my career change, should we say. So I went from building sites to stepping on stage, which was a massive transition, but it changed my life for the better.
Yeah. I mean, you're obviously always very modest about it, but you've gone from building sites to literally being the face of USN globally now. You're out in the States, which is where you've based yourself now, but whether it's here or USN's native South Africa, you are, the front thing. So you're the perfect person to head up the Face for USN campaign. It just shows that the next person, waiting, not that we're trying to get rid of you, but the next person, can come along and not even know what's ahead. It's all been very quick, hasn't it?
Definitely, and like you say, it's very surreal still at this time being the face of USN, and like for anyone out there, obviously it's doable. I was working a full-time job on site, and I fell into it, and as long as obviously you stay humble and you work hard at it, anything's possible.
The move to the States, that's just happened recently.
Yes. Yeah.
What drove you to do that?
So for me, I always want to keep progressing in my career. I always want to keep going forward, and I felt, is the word stagnant right, where I'd done everything I could achieve on my vision board, something I've always done since starting out in England and Europe. And if you're into this industry, America is classed as the hub, the ultimate pinnacle place of where the sports began. So for me, I felt in order to keep progressing, I needed to be over there, and I feel like it's the right choice as well. Going into Olympia, I need to be in and amongst the pro leagues, which is essentially America, and just be more involved on stage and off stage. And not only that, it's taken a toll on me travelling quite a lot. I'm not getting any younger, and travelling to America every month to a show or to attend a seminar or anything like that. It was becoming tiresome on my social life as well and whatnot. And I've always wanted to be in America, and if anyone's followed me for even my first ever interview for USN, it was I want to crack America one day. And like I say, I put on my vision board, which I keep talking about. It's something, a vision board is something I've always done every year and what I want to achieve in that year or in my career. And I was never specific on when I wanted to be there, which I probably should have been because I'd been there sooner. But that was one of them. I wanted to be in America, I wanted to live the life, and yeah, just get involved and maybe take that title. But
it ties in nicely. People I imagine will know now that USN have broken the States, and that's a big move for them. So it's good for them to have you there, but also how's them being there helped you? I assume you don't need to worry about having your supplements shipped over from a different country and things, but have they helped you settle in with contacts and gyms, all sorts of things that they're already out there? So tell us a bit about how being part of the team's helped.
Yeah, so USN have had my back since day one. Like I say, I've been very loyal to them because they've been very loyal to me, and they've always supported in every step of my career so far. So when I've always wanted to compete abroad, they've always helped me financially and backed me in that respect. Obviously the supplements have always helped me in my training and helped me towards obviously achieving the physique I want. And obviously going into America, that was a massive stepping stone for me, because I was leaving my comfort zone, I was leaving my family, everything, as well as taking my girlfriend away from her family, which was a big step for me and a big risk for me, should I say. But having USN there has been amazing because, like you say, the support, they needed me as much as I needed them. So we've kind of supported each other going into America, and we're both growing as a team over there now. So it was lovely to see USN grow over here to what it is now. It's one of the top in the UK, and I'm glad I'm a part of it over there now, because every month it's just growing and getting more momentum, and people are hearing about us, and I think we're going to do very, very well out there.
So your training methodology has stayed relatively constant from for when it's just maybe you now employ some different sorts of training techniques.
Yeah.
So it's not just all about maximal loading and mechanical stresses anymore.
Yes.
You know,
yeah, I think as well, for me, I really enjoyed, I went straight into something I really enjoyed. So the 5-day, 6-day bodybuilding split was something I found very interesting. I never got bored of it, and I loved it, and I saw the results, what I wanted, quite quickly. So I've never felt the need to try anything else. I've tried a few other sports and different methods, but for me, and for the goal and physique I'm trying to achieve, I found this works best for me. Like you say, I have had to be more sensible over time, where you can't be going in every day trying to lift maximal weight, because it is going to take stress on the body, and it has done for me. So I do train a lot more sensible now. That's not training as intense, not as intense. It's still intense, but it's just trying to get the best out of that hour rather than going in trying to lift max weight 24/7.
Okay, so you're obviously somebody that's incredibly driven towards this Olympia title. You're not, since I've known you, you've never been somebody that wouldn't put 100% into it anyway. But has this prep been at all different? You know, you're coming into it as reigning Arnold champion, which is the second biggest title of the year. You were 1 point behind Jeremy, the Mr. Olympia last year. Yeah. Have you done anything differently, or is it just more consistency, more focus? Is it?
I get shivers when you say that. I know it sounds silly, but things are massively different, obviously, because I've had a big transition in my life from being here, everything I've ever known, trained out the same gym on every prep I've done before. I've had the same nutrition company helping me, same coach, less than a mile from my house, same training point, everything. So for me to go and upheaval everything and go to America, just me and Amy, obviously I've got the support of USN, but in the factor of training on my own now, I've got to get a new nutrition company, and all these factors I've had to try and do literally a week before I start my Olympia prep. That was quite difficult, and it was very scary, but again, for me, I needed to take myself out of the comfort zone in order to try and achieve better, and that's what I feel I had to do. So things have been different, and obviously when I landed in America, I didn't realise naively how much the heat would affect my body, i.e. losing weight whilst I'm prepping and stuff like that. So
just from a hydration point of view,
basically, and how much I was sweating more, simply. And that was something I had to adjust to very quickly, and we had to adjust my electrolytes, my water levels, my salt intake, things like that. And to be honest, it's been, although it was quite difficult at first, it's been, I think, hopefully a positive so far, because I've been able to maintain more mass, and it gets me focused over there, because I've took myself out of my comfort zone. I have to achieve, I feel like I've got to prove something to a lot of people. Even on social media, people have said that's a bad move, you're second in the world by 1 point, why would you change something that's working? But I feel that is the difference from first to second, is me being situated over there. And this prep so far, we are 7 weeks into it, has been brilliant, really fired up, every day ready to train, ready to get my next meal in, and this is my year.
Okay, so obviously USN have got this new Face of USN campaign that we're launching. Give some pointers out there to people aspiring to be part of the team. How do you think they can stand out from the crowd?
So basically, the Face of USN isn't solely about like the bodybuilding industry. This is about the sports industry as a whole. So we're going to be looking for people who inspire others, who live the lifestyle, and want to be involved and actually believe in USN as well. So they've got to actually believe in the products and implement them into their day-to-day life. So what USN will be looking for is a good social media following, be it in their category, if it's a certain sport, or if it's just like, say, health in general, how they incorporate USN into their life. And it's how they showcase it. So for me, I was never great at the YouTube social media side. My forte was stepping on stage. So I found what was good for me, and I progressed in that way. USN are looking for anybody in the sports world, so this is open to anybody, and keep focused. They want someone who's driven, determined. They've got to be willing to work. It is a hard industry to crack, but obviously with the support of USN and the whole team, we will make it work.
I mean, just to give some ideas, if you look at the team makeup at the moment, we've got bodybuilders and physique athletes, we've got strength sport athletes, we've got superbike riders, we've got a pole fit champion, we've got the crazy guys that do all the tricks on the mountain bikes and stuff. It really is diverse, and that's before we even look at the sports teams we sponsor and things. So it's the industry has moved away from it's just bodybuilding and physique-based stuff, isn't it? There's so many different ways, whether it's lifestyle tips and in the kitchen work and things like that. It's anything that promotes this healthy lifestyle and inspires others to take it on.
It inspires others, and like I say, it's making it fit into everyday life so people can relate to it. Someone can't relate to my lifestyle because it is not the norm to be eating 6-7 times a day, to be training twice a day and jet setting around. So it's looking for someone who can fit into all those categories and fit USN into their life. So yeah, it'll be a mad opportunity not to miss.
Yeah. So good luck, guys.